My name is Kwabna Chenche Heneboating. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk. And with some 68 days to the general elections, the two leading candidates in this year's presidential polls are today expected to file their nominations at the EC office. The exercise which ends tomorrow, that's Friday, September 30, is being carried out in all regional and district offices of the Electoral Commission across the country to allow prospective presidential and parliamentary aspirants formalize their bids. In a bit, we'll be speaking to our correspondent who is currently at the Electoral Commission head office. But let's now head to the Upper West region because you're told that some persons have already begun filing their nominations. The Rafiq Salam is our correspondent. He's joining us with those details. Rafiq, good morning. Many thanks for joining us. Can you tell us what the situation is in your region? How many people so far have filed? Do you know?
I'm not aware of the number of people who have filed so far.
Okay.
But I can tell you that Majority Leader Alban Sumana has just filed his nomination. It was received by the returning officer, the EC right here. And so we are currently at Noduli where the process is going on here. Alban arrived at the place about an hour ago, and then he submitted the documents, but they have to be perused through by the EC officials. And so at the moment, he is online and he's speaking about what to expect from him.
Okay, so he's filed already. It suggests that he's made the payment of that 10,000 Ghana cedis that he was supposed to.
Yes, yes, he has
okay.
Submitted everything, right. And then he's now speaking to the media now.
Okay.
If you can listen to him.
Sure. So we'll just listen to that briefly, and then we can come down to the capital Accra, from where Joseph Akable will be joining me in a bit. But okay, so we cannot pick that feed now. Let's speak to Joseph Akable. He's here in Accra, particularly the head office of the Electoral Commission. He's joining me on phone now with some more. So Akable, good morning. Many thanks for joining us. Now, the information we had earlier today was that the leading candidates, as far as the presidential polls are concerned, will today be formalizing their bids. We are told that the MPP presidential candidates, as that's Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, is supposed to file his bid early this morning, and then subsequently in the course of the day, the president will also be doing the same. What's the situation where you are now?
Well, Kwabna, just about 10 minutes ago, the flag bearer of the NPP, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, filed his nomination here at the EC headquarters. Some supporters of the party were at the main entrance of the EC headquarters. They arrived earlier. They waited patiently for his arrival. When he came in, he entered, filed the nomination. While he was exiting, the crowd, in terms of the numbers, had increased with a brass band to support. They were singing, dancing. They cheered him on and accompanied his convoy all the way from the headquarters of the EC to the Accra Ridge Hospital, where they left him to move ahead to the party headquarters. So he came in quite a senior. Lots of supporters of the party are supporting the candidate as he filed his nomination this morning. As I speak to you now, the flag bearer of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, is inside the office of the Electoral Commission, where he's also filing his nomination. He arrived, not so much of a packed crowd. You have just some few supporters coming in a vehicle with him. He alighted, and as I speak to you now, he's at the office of the Director of Electoral Services, where he's filing his nomination.
Okay, so if I get you correctly, two presidential candidates this morning have appeared at the EC office. The first person was Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and now you're saying that Hassan Ayariga, who's flag bearer for the All People's Congress, is also there currently filing his nomination. That's the case?
Yes, Governor.
Okay. Now, there was an issue as far as disputes are concerned regarding the fees that were being charged. That's the 50,000 Ghana cedis for these presidential candidates. Does this mean they also pay this amount? Obviously, by bankers draft anyway.
Well, for now, that is what we are trying to get officials from the Electoral Commission to respond to, because we understand that the Progressive Prosperity had raised some concerns, like you rightly put it, and what we are trying to understand from the Director of Electoral Service. As I spoke to you, as I entered earlier, he was engaged in Hassan Ayaga, so we are still trying to get a response from the Commission on whether they are indeed receiving the bank draft of 50,000 cedi from the presidential candidate. Okay,
right. Joseph Akable, many thanks for that update, and we'll be coming back to you later on for some more. But from Joseph Akable, let's now turn our attention to Yusuf Ayuba. He is Deputy Head of Communications for the Electoral Commission, and well, he will actually be telling us a lot more about what has happened so far. He will be giving us a breakdown, but the information we have from our reporter, who is currently on the ground, suggests that two people have actually filed their nominations now. It's official. These two persons, as it remains now, are the only ones who are contesting until, of course, the deadline surpasses and no other persons filed their candidature. Up in the from the Upper West region, we do know that Majority Leader Alban Bagbin has filed his nomination. We spoke to Rafik Salam, who gave us a lot more details on that. And here in the capital, Accra, 2 presidential candidates have also filed their nominations in the and they are the All People's Congress's Hassan Nayariga and also Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, flag bearer of the opposition New Patriotic Party. I believe we do have Ayuba Yusuf on the line now to take us through really what the processes have been so far and the kind of people they are expecting later today. We'll be bringing you details of that as well. We'll also be speaking to a lawyer for the Progressive People's Party, because you do know that that party is currently in court. And why? Well, they believe that the amount of money being charged by the Electoral Commission as far as the fees for filing or the presidential filing fees are concerned, they believe that the 50,000 Ghana cedis is just too much, a little on the high side. Well, that issue is currently in court, and yet still people are filing nominations and presumably being made to pay the 50,000 cedis. I mean, what does this mean? We'll be bringing you details of that after this break shortly. Stay with us. And remember, this is your election headquarters. Like I rightly mentioned early on, it's 68 days to the general elections. Remember, the only place to get the most comprehensive and up-to-the-minute information as far as this year's general elections are concerned is your election headquarters. You're live on television, on radio, online, as well as mobile. You could join us with the hashtag ElectionIssue across all our social media platforms. But let's now, well, obviously, still staying with the issue of elections. And there was one bit of that very story that was a bit controversial early in the week. It has to do with the Electoral Commission stating that they were going to ensure or maintain that all persons who are seeking to contest in the upcoming polls declare their assets. And there's been a lot of issues as far as that very declaration is concerned. But let's try and understand really what this means. In a bit, we'll be speaking to Ayuba Yusuf. He's the Deputy Head of Communications for the Electoral Commission. But let's speak to Deputy Auditor General Yao Sifa, who is joining me on phone. Sifa, good morning. Many thanks for joining us here on News Desk, sir.
Good morning.
Okay. So the first thing is to find out whether or not you've had any of these candidates even come into your office to file their, obviously, to declare their assets.
Yes, we have had a lot of them coming in.
Okay.
Since the announcement was made on the 26th of September to this morning, 200,000 forms have been collected.
200?
237.
237.
Yes, asset declaration forms have been collected, and 90 has been submitted as at this morning. In any case, our regional auditors also give out asset declaration forms and also collect on behalf of the Auditor General in the regions. So, by what that means is that the 90 that has been submitted to head office, others could also submit in the appropriate regional offices.
Mm.
Yeah.
The question many are asking has to do with how legitimate this is. And really, is it compulsory for anyone seeking public office or political office to necessarily declare his assets? I mean, according to the Constitution, it's for the Constitution, for those who are public office holders, it's mandatory. But for me, if I choose to become a member of parliament, why do I necessarily have to declare my assets?
Well, if you look at Article 286 of the Constitution, and then you look at under the heading Other Public Appointments, we have a list of or a category of people who should declare their assets, and they specifically is looking at. Let me read.
Okay.
A person who holds a public office mentioned in clause 5 of the article shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all property or assets owned by or liabilities owed by him, whether directly or indirectly, within 3 months after the coming into force of this Constitution or before taking office, as the case may be, at the end of every 4 years, and at the end of the term of office. I think we can say that sitting MPs, as well as those who are aspiring to come in, are looking at a public office. And so it's very clear here that at the end of every 4 years. So what that means is that exiting MPs and those who are aspiring to come in should declare their assets.
Okay. If this is the case, why is it that we've not seen such an approach all the while, and we are now just trying to enforce this?
Well, I wouldn't be able to say why it hasn't been enforced so far. But I will be honest with you that we have had asset declaration forms from public officers, MPs, ministers, all filling and then submitting to the Auditor General. So maybe this is the first time a public announcement has been made. But it does not mean that previously such forms were not being...
No, I do agree that maybe these persons have been picking the forms. My issue has to do with how come we fail to tie it in, particularly with those who file nominations, as far as the upcoming polls are concerned. So if every 4 years you know that these are the people seeking office and that we need them to file their... declare their assets, why has that not been the status quo over the period?
Well, maybe the Electoral Commission could speak to this.
Okay.
But the unfortunate thing is that we have called for a look to be taken at the Public Asset Holders Declaration law, the Act 550.
You want a review? Yeah,
we have called for. And in fact, during the constitutional review, it was thought it is made proposal. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening, sir.
Because for now, the Auditor General is merely a custodian of the asset declaration form. So we give the forms out, they are brought in, we give them receipt when they are brought back. And that ends the Auditor General's work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me zero in on this, and this would probably be the final question.
There's some noise, serious background noise there.
Okay, so we'll work on that noise, and then I'm sure we'll have a much clearer line. But okay, but what I wanted to ask is we are looking at the two leading candidates as far as the presidential polls are concerned, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and then His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, these are people who are contesting. Do you have any idea whether or not any of these two have picked up forms and have actually declared their assets as of now? And indeed, any other presidential candidate?
On record, we know Akufo-Addo has done it. But I'm not the others.
You're not sure of the president and Nana Akufo-Addo?
I can't. The records are there. I can check. But then I cannot say off of my head that the two have. But then, definitely, the taking office always have to declare his assets because he assumes a profit. And by extension, he is exiting after the end of the whether he is going to be re-elected or not. At the end of the 4 years, as Article 286 of the Constitution, at the end of his term of office, or at the end of every 4 years, he has to declare his assets. So he declares when he comes in, and then he declares when he goes out. So the president would have done this.
But you're not sure of the NPP flag bearer?
I can check and then get back to you maybe in the next 2 minutes.
I see.
Because
right.
it's something that is sure. President, he did it before taking office, and then he will do it before exiting.
Exiting office.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not like exiting maybe for good, but then the term will end come 31st December.
Okay. Are there any sanctions as far as people who are seeking this very public office are concerned? I mean, if they fail to declare their assets and still go ahead to file their nominations, I mean, are there any sanctions for them?
Yes, there are sanctions.
Which are?
The sanctions will actually be addressed by the Chief Justice. You see, there should be a complaint of contravention. If there is an allegation that a public officer has contravened provisions of the Act, then the SHRAG, Commissioner for Human Rights and Administration Justice, would have to take it. But if it involves the SHRAG himself, then the Chief Justice will take it up.
Okay. All right.
So,
yes, sir, I'm listening.
And the administrator or the Chief Justice, as the case may be, may take up such action as he can result of the results of the investigation. Okay. So there should be an allegation, it should be investigated. The Chief Justice or SHRAG would have to take appropriate measures that he thinks appropriate in the. So it's not very specific that A or B.
Okay.
But then, as the case may be, he considers appropriate, depending on the outcome of the results of the investigation.
All right.
Or the admission that maybe the person made.
Okay.
That, well,
many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. We really appreciate your time. And Yasifa is the Deputy Attorney General, and he's been sharing with us really some information as far as the assets declaration issue is concerned. And for now, he is saying that, well, the names that readily come to mind will obviously be His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because he was made to declare his assets before taking over the reins of the country, and also Dr. Papa Kwesi Indom, flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party. He is unsure whether or not the other candidates, including the flag bearer of the opposition New Patriotic Party, have actually declared their assets, but he can't cross-check that, and indeed he will cross-check that, and I will bring you that information later on. Well, and the interesting thing he mentions is that 237 forms have been picked up so far, and 90 of them have been submitted by quite a number of these politicians who are seeking to either represent us in Parliament or lead us for the next 4 years. You see, Fayuba is Deputy Head of Communications at the Electoral Commission. He joins us also on phone now with some thoughts on this. Mr. Ayuba, good morning. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, so maybe we could start off on that very tangent of the asset declaration. Now, why was this such a major thing for you, particularly the Electoral Commission, going into this year's elections? Why did you need to put out that directive to ensure that everybody who wants to either be president or a member of Parliament, why do you force them to declare their assets? Are they public office holders?
Thank you very much. If you look at the nomination form, there are so many of the requirements that the candidates must meet before their nomination can be accepted. So the commission sends a reminder to the political parties or the candidates to be mindful of the provisions that are in the declaration, so that they would comply with those declarations, so that they can, so that when they present their forms, they wouldn't be found wanting in a situation where, after we had gone through the nomination forms and it is established that they've not met some of the criteria, then their forms would be rejected. So it was a reminder to them. It's always been part of the process.
This morning, we are told that the NPP flag bearer has filed his nomination. We are also told that Hassan Nayaga, flag bearer of the All People's Congress, is also currently at your office, and he's going through the process of filing. Is that the case?
Yes, around 9:30 a.m., like you rightly said, Nana Akufo-Addo, who is the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, filed his nomination. His nominations were taken. We would go through the nomination, and if we are satisfied with all the information that he has provided, then we would accept his nomination. After that, the United Progressive Party also submitted their nomination papers around 9:35 a.m. So we are also going through the nomination form. United Front Party has also submitted, and currently the APC is also, submitting their form.
How about President Mahama?
We've not received his
Okay.
nomination forms yet.
So for these people who actually went ahead to go through the process and, like you're saying, have successfully filed their nominations, did they come with the payments of the 50,000 cedis and the 10,000 cedis respectively?
It's a subject of litigation at the court. So the chairperson, who is the returning officer for presidential, took the nomination form without the banker's draft. So as and when those issues are resolved, then we would take those forms, the banker's draft. Sorry.
So you're saying today anyone who has been there to file the nominations is not being made to pay any money. They're just supposed to present the documents.
Yes. Because it is a requirement in law that we receive nominations today and tomorrow. That is 29th and 30th.
Yeah.
So if we do not receive the nominations within this period, then it will be another thing. So we would receive, or we are receiving the nominations. We will go to, as and when the court decides otherwise, then the commission would know exactly what to do.
Okay. So what's the next line of action after tomorrow? Because you do know that tomorrow is a deadline. So after tomorrow, what happens? If somebody is unable to file tomorrow, but at a later time when the all clear is given by the courts, the person later presents the document together with his or her money, what happens? Are they still qualified to take part in the elections?
5 p.m. tomorrow, if a candidate does not submit his or her nomination paper, then that will be all for that particular candidate.
How about those who are able to file before 5 p.m. but yet still are unable to raise the money at a later time?
The issue of the money, the candidates were supposed to have come with a banker's draft of 50,000 for presidential and 10,000 for parliamentary. As it stands now, the issue is in court, so we've put on hold the receiving of the money. So, but we are receiving the nomination forms. We will go through the nomination form. As and when it is determined, the issue is determined by the court, then we will know exactly the amount that we will receive. But the forms must be received within the period. That is between 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., then 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on the 29th, and same on the 30th.
Does this mean that nobody, up until the court decides, nobody is cleared as a presidential candidate or parliamentary candidate?
That will be determined by the commission. The most important thing is that you have met all the requirements that you are supposed to do, minus the fee. That is very important.
Okay, all right. Yusuf Ayuba, many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. And Yusuf Ayuba is Deputy Head of Communications for the Electoral Commission. Let's return once again to our reporter on the ground, Joseph Akable, and he's joining us with some more. Akable, any additional information you have on the ground?
Well, so, like you just heard Mr. Ayuba confirm, indeed, the EC is not receiving that draft. And just a few minutes ago, the APC team, Mr. Yaraga didn't show up. It was led by Emmanuel Carl-Battels. He just finished filing for the APC. And the point that the EC chairperson is making is that they are just accepting the form. And what the commission will be doing is to assess later on whether the candidate has been able to satisfy all the requirements before they will finally inform the candidates that your form has been accepted. So in this case, it's just a case of receiving the form and not an acceptance entirely.
Okay. All right. So it means anybody at all can submit the forms on behalf of any candidate?
The candidates have to do either themselves or for their running mates. That is the understanding we are getting here.
Okay, all right. Akable, many thanks for that update as well. That's Joy News reporter Joseph Akable reporting live from the head office of the Electoral Commission here in the capital, Accra. You're still watching News Desk here on the Joy News channel Multi TV. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll tell you about the situation that's happening at the Kumasi Technical University, where we are told that the admission of the first batch of students into that very technical university has stalled because hackers have broken into the school's official portal and website. We have details after this break. Stay with us. Now, admission of the first batch of students into the Kumasi Technical University has stalled as hackers break into the school's official portal and website. The sites of the school, formerly Kumasi Polytechnic, have been down for 2 months, leaving prospective local and international students stranded. Now, authorities say the cyber criminals are demanding money as condition for restoring the system. So, Interior reports from Kumasi.
Kumasi Polytechnic, one of the first 6 polytechnics to be converted into technical universities, suffered a setback as authorities prepared to admit new students. Hackers have been asking authorities to pay a ransom before they restore the websites. Vice Chancellor Professor Nsunwa Nuama revealed this at the 3rd International Conference on Applied Science and Technology in Kumasi.
Many of our people occasionally fall prey to the nefarious activities of cyber fraudsters who operate under the guise of information and communication technology. Hacking into the website of organizations and institutions has become the order of the day, and Kumasi Polytechnic has been a victim of this menace.
He later told Joy News, besides the inconvenience caused to students and authorities, the development can negatively affect the university's local and international rating.
I know it will affect our ranking because, the ranking institutions, they usually depend on the website. And for about 2 months or 3 months, this thing has been happening. In fact, they hacked into it first time, we corrected it, and then they did it again. So it's like nobody will be able to access the website, or that will affect our image. That's because whatever you are doing will not be known by any other any institution outside. So for some time, our students were also not able to access. We're not able to make payments. We're not able to even access the forms and so forth. But that one, we corrected it earlier.
Demand for ransom has raised suspicion of blackmail attempt as police begin investigation.
And when you corrected the two, he came back and hacked again into the website. But the Kumasi Polytechnic is an enviable institution, so I think it's an enviable institution. So if you want to hack into the Polytechnic system, you hit that one first. And even the whole country is one of the well-known, one of the good institutions in Ghana. So they tackle you first.
And that was Ohim Interior's report from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. This is still News Desk here on your Joy News channel. Let's do some business with Emmanuel Abojiriafe, who's standing by.